We might have heard about building value, but do we truly understand what creating value is? And what in the world does cherry pie have to do with creating value? I think good. Clutch closers. What does creating value even mean? Creating value at its core is whenever we give something, the customer gives something, it's created and it doesn't cost either side any money. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a compromise about money. It's all about the process. You have a process, a sales process that you were probably taught whenever you started selling whatever in the world that you're selling it is. And I'll bet that sales process was designed to create value at every step along the way. It's designed to build the deal. It's designed to sell the sizzle, if you will, when it comes up. When we talk where can a good place to start at creating value in the process, let's talk a meet and greet is a strong area. When you walk up and you reach out and you shake somebody's hand and that first impression is created, that creates value. And it can either take value away from the deal or it can create value on your side and the customer side. Either they're going to make a decision in the first couple of seconds whether they start to like or trust you. And there's this great wall that's in between you and them. And when you remove one of those bricks from that wall, all of a sudden value is created and it didn't cost either side any money. When you sit down and you try to understand what the customer wants and needs and you do a great needs assessment, and you listen to the customer, that creates value because now I can start working off of understanding what their needs are, what their wants are, and I can start trying to figure out how to give it to them. When you move outside and you select, if you're in the car business, and you select a vehicle and you pull it out, and you let the car seat all the way back and you turn the air conditioner on when it's hot outside. Maybe you turn the radio down low and it's on whatever radio station that their vehicle was on, and you start creating a sense of familiarity in the vehicle, and it's pulled away from all the other vehicles. That creates value. It pulls it out. It showcases the vehicle. And your walk around is one of the few places that you can create value and sell yourself. You sell the vehicle, you can sell the dealership where you work at. It's the only place in the car deal where you can create value and build value and all that. It's called fab selling, features, advantage, benefits. What is the feature? What is the advantage? What is the benefit? Fab selling creates huge value. And since we're staying at the car dealership right now and we've got back from the test drive, when you walk back in, do you start and just walk straight to your desk? Or maybe do you start at the service department and you enter the customer through the service door and you start selling the service process? Ma'am, this is Mr. Jones. He's a great service advisor. When you ever need anything with your new XYZ, he's who's going to take care of you. And now I've introduced him to somebody. Did that introduction cost me anything? Did walking through the service door instead of the sales door cost me anything? It cost me nothing. It was free to both of us. And yet, we've created some value. Now we've shown the customer they have a friend in the service department. We've started creating some mental ownership on your new vehicle. This is where you're going to bring it to, and this is who you're going to ask for. All of a sudden, they start to feel like they know people. And your current customers are the ones who have the highest closing ratio. And we're simulating a current customer here by bringing them through that side door over at service as we walk through and we start selling the dealership. This is where you get coffee. This is where the bathrooms are. If you ever need anything from the cashier and have to pay, this is where this is. This is the parts department. And now we've entered our desk, and guess what? It cost us nothing. It was absolutely free to do on both sides, but we have created value for both of us. And creating value is also about watching what you say, how and what you share with the customer. If you're ever inside of a negotiation and you tell the customer that, hey, this is all I can do, I'm losing money, one, the customer's not going to believe you, and two, when you start giving affirmatives like, this is it, we can't do anymore, I'm losing money, all you're doing is asking your customer to start creating their own ultimatums back to you. And dealing with ultimatums is a whole nother story. We want to create value not roadblocks that we have to overcome. Roadblocks can cost us money down the road. We're trying to create something here that doesn't cost either side any money. And as we start creating this and we pay attention to what we say and how we say it, and when the customer gives us an objection, we start seeking solutions. Solutions inside the deal. Is there a solution to this objection that doesn't cost me money? Is there a solution where maybe I can give just a little bit to close something a lot bigger? Can we be creative with those solutions? And how creative can we get? Can we think completely and totally outside the box? And when you're seeking that solution and you're trying to move towards a value perspective, you have to go to what your customer's perspective is. Your perspective doesn't matter. You have to go to where your customer's at to bring them to where you're at. You can't sell from where you're at and just expect your customer to come to you. That doesn't create value. If you want to do that, you've got to wave out money in your hand. You've got to bring them with something else besides value. It's probably going to cost you some money to pull them this way. But if I can understand why they're thinking what they're thinking, if I can understand what their objection is and why they have that objection, if I can look past what I see, what's being given to me right now, and read in between the lines of the objection and try to understand the whys, then I can start creating value. So listen to your customer. Listening creates that value when you come in. That's what gives you the opportunity to do it, and you follow your process. And that takes us back to the very beginning. When we talk about our process, your process is in place and was designed, no matter what you're selling, to create value. And the more value we create, the more value we can claim. You're never going to claim 100% of the value. If you do, that's a lose-lose situation for your customer. It's a one-way transaction and you'll never see them again. Your customer has to see some value in the transaction or they wouldn't sign up in the first place. And if you're going to create value and then you realize that as you create that value, you're going to have to split it with somebody. You're going to split that value with your customer. You want to split the biggest pie you possibly can. And if you're splitting pies with your customer, do you want to split a nice big cherry pie like this with your customer? Or are you taking shortcuts and you're splitting a tiny pie with your customer? I would rather be splitting this cherry pie over here with my customer than this little tiny blueberry pie right here. I mean, I like blueberries, there's nothing wrong with it, but cherry's great, and this cherry pie is a whole lot bigger for me to split with my customer. This right here is the person that doesn't take shortcuts. This right here, this is Mr. Shorty. This is Shortcut City. He's taking shortcuts. He's getting many deals. He's not making any money. He's not creating any value. And if you want to, man, maybe that right there is you. You're not a clutch closer you wouldn't be watching this if this was you. You're this guy right here. And speaking of Mr. and Miss Shortcut, maybe you know this guy right here, right? What's happening? What's up with this? You want to split this much value with your customer? Or are you splitting this much value with your customer and your customer's just taking everything home with them? I know which one I want to split with my customer. And if you're taking shortcuts, this is where you end up. And I'll tell you something, this thing it's pretty good. And I kind of like chocolate. I always love these things with a little filling in the middle. But I'd much rather be splitting this with my customer than having to split this little tiny cupcake with them. Anyway, clutch closers, go out. Create some value with your customers. How are you creating value? What are you doing? Are you splitting this big old cherry pie or are you splitting cupcakes with your customer? Maybe we need to start at the very beginning. I don't know. Put it down in the comments. What are some of the things that you're doing to create value? Hit the subscribe button. If you like splitting big old pies, hit the like button and go close some deals.